Good morning, all you namasters. I don't think I've ever said that before. I don't think I've ever called you all namasters. It works. If our only role and our only passion is to bless everything, everyone, in every moment, then we are all namasters. And I like that. I mean, if that's our only task, our only role, to see everything exactly as God sees everything, what greater role could there possibly be? You know, the song that we just heard, Beyond This World, There Is a World That I Want. There is a line in there that says, is it really a loss to find a world where losing is impossible? That comes from A Course in Miracles, obviously. And let me read the exact line from lesson 129. Yeah, 129. It says, is it a loss to find a world instead where losing is impossible, where love endures forever, hate cannot exist, and vengeance has no meaning? Is it really a loss to release yourself into such an experience, into such a world? Well, as strange and as bizarre as that may sound, to consider it or to think that that's like losing something, this is what you've always believed. This is what the split mind believes, that to accept everything means you've lost something. And the birds agree. I mean, when you really look at it, isn't that true? The experience of accepting everything to the ego means that you must lose something else. But when you really look at that clearly and honestly, you realize that that's crazy. That doesn't make any sense at all. But that's the whole key. The ego split mind is insane. And the quicker you realize that, the quicker you accept that, the sooner you'll abandon it. The sooner you will abandon everything that it shows you, the sooner you will abandon everything that it tells you, the split mind. Most especially that one lesson, that accepting everything means losing something you love, and yet love is everything. How can you lose everything when that's your only role, that's your only desire, is to be merged, to dissolve into everything? We're going to talk a little bit today about throwing ourselves into that great river and letting the current draw us into the experience of everything. That's a symbol, an idea we've used before, but I think it works really well. So we're actually looking at another chapter, actually the same chapter as we did yesterday from this new book, The Impersonal Light. We're going to continue with chapter 12. This is kind of an advanced peek for you guys to really dive into these lessons and to really experience how simple salvation is. So let me read a little bit here and then we'll talk about it. Once again, this is from chapter 12 of The Impersonal Light. I want to make this as simple as possible so you'll avoid your natural tendency to get lost in the concept and miss the experience I'm seeking, that I'm sharing rather. Once again, I want to make this as simple as possible so you'll avoid your natural tendency, what you always do, to get lost in the concept rather than be in the experience that I'm sharing. I could spend pages and days trying to get you to see how you have blocked salvation, but there's no reason for that. You only need one thing right now: to be guided to the river and to be encouraged to dive in. To be guided to the river and then be encouraged to dive in. I can't force you to enter the current, but I can describe the joy you'll experience when you finally do. I promise that the current will pull you to the infinite ocean where you will be at home. You don't need to do anything but surrender and let the current take you. Don't wait another moment. Once again, you don't need to do anything but surrender, let go, and let the current take you. Dive in. Don't wait another moment. That's the only reason we're here. We're just saying dive into this experience. Embrace the experience. Let go of the insane idea that accepting and loving everything means that you have to lose something that you love. It's a strange belief that we no longer need. We never needed, but we thought we did. To hide. We thought we needed it to hide from the truth of who we are, who we've always been. Everything at once. But now we don't need that, so we dive into that current. So let's hear what happens when we do that. You've been told that your ability to think gives you dominion over all the kingdoms of the world, but my message to you is very different. Trying to dominate any part of the kingdom only leads to despair. And your ability to think has only confused you further. To dominate is to attack. But your soul, who you really are, is really only interested in joining and blessing, never attacking. So your attempts to dominate any part of the kingdom, and everything, by the way, is part of the kingdom. So your attempts to dominate anything only isolates you further, while your willingness to serve and to bless brings you into an intimate communion with everything that exists. Your willingness to serve and to bless, only that brings you into an intimate communion with everything that exists. Isn't that what you really want? An intimate communion. I love that. It's such a beautiful way of expressing. Now, this next sentence you're going to hear is the key. It will sound somewhat familiar, but we've spent lifetime after lifetime avoiding this. And now, here you are, right on the precipice, ready to dive in. And so this is the only thing that matters right now, what you're about to hear. And here it is. Everything that exists is real, and nothing that does not exist can harm you. See how simple that is? But once again, you've spent lifetime after lifetime avoiding this simple solution. Once again, everything that exists is real, and nothing that does not exist can harm you. Let me read further. The thoughts you seem to think are not my thoughts. Once again, this is the I am presence, which is another way of saying the Christ or God, or however you want to express this. But he's always going to say this: the thoughts that you seem to think are not my thoughts. If they were, you would never choose to dominate, but would only choose to serve. Even your desire to manifest what you think you want is an attack on your true identity. The only thing you can manifest is that which you are. For manifestation or creation comes from extension, and you cannot extend what you are not. Whoa. Did you hear that? Let me read that again. Once again, and this flies right in the face of most New Age theologies that teach us how to get what we don't have by using certain egoic manifestation tools to draw into our experience what we think will somehow solve the problem. But it never does. It says, even your desire to manifest what you think you want is an attack on your true identity. The only thing you can manifest is that which you are, that which you already are. For manifestation or creation, same thing, comes through extension. And you cannot extend what you are not. You cannot extend what you are not. You're finally beginning to realize, finally, that you don't really want what you thought you wanted, just as you don't really love what you thought you loved. The only thing you can truly love is love itself, since you and the entire kingdom are contained within the heart of love, which is the same as saying the heart of God. Until now, this knowledge has been sleeping inside you, but it has suddenly awakened, and you finally see what has forever been seen. You finally see what has forever been seen, and you know what has forever been known. Isn't that beautiful? You are forever seen and known by God. And this is the only thing that you need to recognize and be set free from the chains that have bound you for so long. Your true being, or the I am presence we share, seeks only to join, not to dominate. And when it joins with what is true, the truth is experienced by all. When you join with what is true, the truth is experienced by all. That's all I'm trying to get you to see. For I am within you, and my sight is perfect. That's all I'm trying to get you to see. Once again, that one sentence, everything that exists is real, and nothing that does not exist can harm you. That gives you all the safety that you need to finally join and serve with your whole heart. The only reason you're here, the only thing there is for you to do that will reveal everything, bring everything to life, allow you to dive into that current, that river that pulls you into that infinite ocean. So that's what I have to share today. Now let's see where Vicky can take us in the next step. Good morning, Vic.
Good morning, Jimmy. Well, I think that was a great lead-in to the party world, to the party division, because really, if there's nothing left here to do but to join with no outcome except to celebrate our holiness and let the current take it and take us. That's what children do. They play, and they're playing in that current of grace. And it's hard for us to unlearn our dominating thinking. We've gotten so habituated to it, but it's easy if that's all we want. So it goes back to let your eye be single, let my eye be single, and look to the immortal, look to the divine, look to the holiness in myself and my brother, and go out and play. Joining is, and playing are the highest forms of joining, because it's carefree in the love of God, in the love that we are. There's no expectation. There's no domination. It's a joining. And playing is wholehearted. That's what makes it playful, because there's no self-concept that we're concerned with. There's no monitoring. There's just a giving. There's a giving. And we're called to be the children of the light here. We're called to join and play as we bring in this consciousness of Christ, this consciousness of light. And the fruit of it is our joyfulness. And the fruit of it becomes ours as soon as we see it in one another and give it to one another. Service isn't hard labor. Service is joining and caring and giving to one another. It's blessing one another in whatever means are at hand. So that's my take on today.
You know, if I had my guitar up here, I would take it out and sing, "Be like a child today.
Right.
You don't need to throw away what's simple. Yeah, so simple." It is so simple, isn't it?
Yep.
Just join in joy. Just be joyful in the joining. We don't need to complicate this anymore. And that's why Jesus talked about being like a child. that children will inherit the kingdom. And it's not the childish, but the childlike within us that lets the simple be simple. We in our thoughts tend to overcomplicate everything, and we don't need to do that anymore, do we?
Nope. And today we have a big snowstorm, and Big Teddy's going to go put on his snowsuit. Can you see?
Oh my goodness.
And we're going to go make snow angels.
Oh, that's well, as you can see, we don't have any snow here in Mexico.
No, your beautiful sunshine.
But I heard you guys had a big storms coming, so that's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a white Christmas, it looks like.
Yes, we do. We do.
All right, speaking of Teddy, you want to share anything?
Yeah, a couple of things came to mind when you were talking. Don't wait another moment. When I hear that, it's like what I hear is don't think it takes time, because the idea of thinking, another thing, instead of using the word think, some people say, let me figure this out. And that's exactly the problem, figuring stuff out. And that's what separation is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what you're saying, like the idea of manifestation, like in teaching people to manifest, it's just a way to demonstrate to them that their mind has power, that they're not powerless, but it's still based on something lacking. Like, you're lacking something. So I can manifest what it is I think I need. Right. And what they really need is the understanding of what the power of their mind actually is, rather than something that the power of their mind brings it, because it doesn't matter, no matter how you look at it, it's still reinforcing the idea that there's something in lack. Also, this is going to sound really strange. A while back, I got this message, and I was told that Jerry Garcia teaches the course through music and his songs, just the way Jesus teaches it. And he's got this song, and it's called Ebower. And what it is it starts out with this really eerie music, and the words, don't think, don't think, don't think. And the don't think fades away as the music gets eerie. And then all of a sudden, the music comes together, and it comes out in this beautiful, beautiful harmonic melody from like this chaotic sort of bunch of sounds. And whenever I used to hear that, I used to think about this whole idea. It's like, when we don't think, things begin to flow together as they're meant to be. When we think, we're figuring things out of the mess. And part of the mess, we figure something out of the mess and think that's the answer, but the mess remains. So it was just sort of an interesting, it was just an interesting observation that I had based on what it is you're saying. And because we really have to recognize that being who we are, all things are given. And the need to, the recognition that we're given everything allows us to understand who we are in relationship to, the totality of creation, our creative reality, and the creator himself. And it proves everything Jesus is saying is true. So it's like, don't think it takes time. Don't wait another moment. It only happens now. And that now is any now that you allow it to be.
Right. Especially right now.
Exactly. So it gets pretty simple when you could remember to stay, just like it's just always now. And the past is gone. The future won't be based on the past because the past is gone. And the future will be an extension, like you're saying, an extension of the glory of the now that we find ourselves in, where we're being given everything.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Teddy. I love how you started that we try and figure it out.
Right.
And what I always say is stop trying to figure it out and let it figure you out. You get you out of the way. You are the issue. And you trying to figure this out is the actual block to it being figured out.
That's the problem.
But there's only one problem and one solution. Get the fuck out of the way.
It's all already been given. Don't figure it out. You can't figure it out. You have to just receive what's given.
That's right. Once again, how simple. It doesn't need to be complicated. Just hold still. Seek only to join and to bless, and the rest happens on its own.